Back in the 70s, things were different. Burgers were a nickel, gay people were evil, and guys like this were considered hot. But one similarity between now and then is the fact that they were still making movies. Weird, avant-garde, uncomfortable movies. And some of them were actually pretty good. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is one of those movies. The thing that caught my eye with this film is the title. If this movie were made today, a title like that would imply some cheesy thriller with lots of teens bumping uglies and getting killed in super gory ways. But this film doesn't really do that. I mean, there is some explicit stuff, but it's much more of a psychological kind of horror movie. Let's Scare Jessica to Death is about a mentally unstable woman who has trouble discerning her imagination from reality. Would I consider this movie worth watching today? Well, yeah, but you gotta know a few things first. This is not a modern horror movie. The ways in which it is scary are much different than, say, Insidious. There's no jump scares or really anything scary on screen at all, besides these way too close-up shots of old people.
Hello there.
Also, the acting is, well, different. It's sort of like old Star Trek, where the timings were much less natural and closer to how people act on stage.
Mr. Fox.
And then there's the mole. I love this scene. They clearly had no access to moles when making this movie, so they just threw a rat in there and were like, people will get the idea.
It has no eyes?
Its eyes are right there, Jessica. But all of those things are part of the film's charm. It's very of its era, and if you can get past that, you will find yourself thoroughly enjoying this little mystery. And I mean little. The cast of this movie is so small. There's less than 10 people shown on screen in this whole thing, and I like that. No extras, no fluff. If you're in the story, you have a role. It also makes Jessica and her friends seem much more isolated, like they're the only normal people in this entire town. But I want to talk about the story in its entirety, so spoilers from here on out. The movie opens up with Jessica in a graveyard making rubbings of tombstones. Completely normal behavior. When suddenly she sees a ghost watching her from the hillside. Or maybe it's just a woman in a dress wondering why this other woman is copying gravestones. But then she disappears, so I guess it was a ghost. No need to paint her in white or anything, just put her in a dress and have her stand there ominously. We then hear something that we're going to hear a lot in this movie. Jessica's inner monologue.
Get that place. I'm okay now. Don't tell them. Act normal.
I think they did this because they made the movie without the monologue, and then they rewatched it and realized how awkward it was. Jessica runs back to her husband Duncan and his friend Woody, ironic, and they all hop in their hearse and head down the road. You know the vibes are immaculate when you and the boys pull up to the function in a hearse.
It's cheaper than a station wagon. Good riddance.
Upon moving into their new house, Jessica spots someone upstairs, and everyone is startled. But they realize it's just a squatter living in their residence. Her name is Emily, and naturally they ask her to stay for dinner. Emily knows how to play guitar, and Jessica's husband joins in what must be the most sexual cello playing ever put onto film. Jessica's inner monologue points out that her husband thinks the stranger is attractive, but he's not the only one. If it's not weird enough to invite your squatter to dinner, it's even weirder to agree to perform a seance with her. And I love this scene. Jessica's trying so hard to not look into the camera right here. During the seance, Jessica looks at this photo of a baby and hears a voice speaking to her but tries to ignore it. She's worried her husband will worry about her and think her mental illness is coming back. Everyone does some sex, and then they wake up and go to have a totally sterile bath in the lake. This is where we meet the Mayo Man.
Does it feel good?
We get some more sexual tension between Duncan and Emily, and some weirdly intimate neck rubbing. Jessica gets rightfully upset, and they all head inside for a delicious meal of raw ground meat and lettuce. What was going on in the 70s, dog? After lunch, they decide to explore the house, and upstairs in the attic, Jessica finds a very old photo with what is clearly Emily pictured in it. However, no one notices this, and they decide to sell the picture. Emily is opposed to them selling a photo of what is obviously her, and we get one of the strangest lines in the movie.
Can't just sell them like an old car.
People sell old cars.
What? That's just what she said. That's not a comeback at all. This line makes no sense. Whatever. They head over to the antique store and meet the only other normal person in this movie, the antique dealer. He begrudgingly buys the painting off of them, stating that he doesn't want to buy it because of the history of the family and the house. He tries to explain something about the bride in the photo and never getting to wear the wedding dress, possibly being a vampire. Obviously none of that is important. Duncan cuts him off right away and just demands he give them the money. They get back in the car and Jessica's upset with him on the ride back, but I can't pay attention to anything in this conversation because they shot this entire scene with Jessica out of focus. Jessica asks Duncan if he finds Emily attractive.
Do you find her attractive?
Now, if your wife asks you if you find another woman attractive, what should you say? Well, Duncan goes with,
Yeah.
well, yeah, now that you mention it, that hoe is actually kind of bad, and I think I'm going to cheat on you with her later in this movie. They decide to break the tension by stopping in town for some eggs. This is where things are supposed to get spooky, but I couldn't stop laughing during this part of the movie. First of all, there's these old people that are supposed to be covered in bandages. What bandages? You mean these clean, perfectly white cloths that were clearly applied like 2 seconds ago? And I thought this guy was just wearing a turtleneck. And then you have this ADR line.
If there was a place, I sure wouldn't tell you.
There is no shot this old man with 3 teeth sounds like that. They 100% put that in because no one could understand what this guy said. Then you have Jessica's husband being pressed by these dinosaurs by the car. Like, bro, they're ancient. A strong gust of wind would turn these guys into dust and you're intimidated by them. And oh my god, I love these close-ups of the old men. I don't even think they're actors, to be honest. They just saw the pickleball club meeting up and asked them to be in their movie. They're clearly trying so hard not to laugh in these close-ups. 10 out of 10, I love it. Back on the farm, it's time to get to work. I think. Apparently Duncan is trying to start up an orchard, but one, Woody is the only one we ever see doing any sort of farming, and 2, he tells Jessica not to eat this apple because it's poison? What? Are you growing poison apples, bro? Also, why are there apples already? They just moved in yesterday. Whatever, doesn't matter. Look at this mole. At first, I was so sure they would just hide the mole in their hands and not show it, since there's clearly no freaking way they found a mole dealer for this movie. But then they do show it, and it's just a normal ass mouse. It's got big ears and eyes and everything. I love that they didn't even turn it around and hide its face to make it look more mole-like. They're just like, nah, use your imagination. That's a mole, alright? Jessica wanders off to a way too large graveyard and finds a tombstone of Abigail Bishop, the woman from the photo, and then looks up to see the ghost from the first graveyard still following her. Jessica follows her into the woods where she sees the antique dealer dead on the ground. She shrieks and her husband comes to find her. The antique dealer is gone. Now here, it's understandable that he would think Jessica is having an episode, but then they both see the ghost and chase her ass down and actually catch her. Now at this point, how do you not believe Jessica saw something? You literally just caught a ghost. Clearly something is going on here. She's not crazy if you both see the ghost. But then Jessica starts tweaking and the ghost gets away. They all just head back to the house, I guess, and sit down for dinner where we get more sexual tension between Duncan and Emily. Jessica sees it, gets upset, leaves the table, says goodnight to her definitely real mole that is definitely really in this container, and goes to bed. Woody tries to talk some sense into his friend and is like, go talk to your wife. So Duncan heads upstairs to get in bed, and I have never seen someone look more uncomfortable while being completely snug in bed before. This is the look you have on your face when you just finished the 15-hour shift in the mines and your girlfriend asks if you would still love her if she was a jellyfish. Jessica and Duncan get into a fight and he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm gonna go get some gussy in the living room. Then someone definitely murders the definitely real mole. It's definitely really in this jar, guys. It's definitely really there and really just got its head cut off, and there wasn't just strawberry jam on the newspapers inside the jar. Damn, I guess they really did just kill that mole. Then Jessica bursts out that she didn't kill the mole, but the thing is, no one accused her of killing the mole. She just makes herself seem so guilty in this scene for no reason. Even I think she killed the mole, and I'm watching the movie and know she didn't kill it. She then storms off to the attic and sees that somehow the picture of the bride has returned. She looks out the window and realizes that bitch from the picture is sleeping with her husband. Oh hell nah. Anyways, Steve Jobs goes back to town and gets bullied by old men again. This is where the movie takes an unexpected turn. Back at the house, Jessica confronts Emily about being the woman in the photo and sleeping with her husband. Instead of denying it, she just starts giving Jessica JOI instructions.
Jessica, come, Jessica. My eyes. Look in my eyes.
Then they decide to get oiled up by the lake and do some breath play. Emily tries to drown Jessica in the lake. Then Emily comes out of the lake as Abigail Bishop in her wedding dress. She taunts Jessica about Duncan, and Jessica sprints back to the house and jumps in bed while covered in lake mud. Gross. Clearly, this day has started off very stressful, so Jess takes a quick power nap and wakes up feeling much better. She decides to get dressed and head into town to find her husband. And she do got that shit on though. We get more of Jessica being God's most neurodivergent soldier.
What's the matter?
Can you help me?
And we see that Woody is still the only person actually working on this whole damn farm. He heads in after a long day of work to find Abigail waiting for him, finally willing to give herself over to him. But this guy's like covered in dust and sweat. He's like, actually, let me just shower first. But then she hits him with the move no man can resist. The kissing hand maneuver. God damn. Am I even old enough to be watching this movie? Finally, it's revealed that Abigail really is a vampire. Or, yeah, I think so. It's not really explained, but she's some kind of blood-sucking creature thingy. The old men are all chilling in town with their bandages removed, and we see that they all have mild brush burns, clearly indicating they are undead thralls. Well, I guess this guy's pretty fucked up. I don't know. Jessica pulls her signature move of running away, sees the ghost woman again, and decides to take a nap right here. This is her second nap of the day, by the way, if you're keeping track. It's clearly a good strategy because Duncan finds her and they head back home together. Jessica forgives him for some reason, and they head back to the bedroom where Jessica sees he has been touched by the vampire. She tries to convince herself that it's all in her head, that everything is normal when Abigail appears with her army of elderly men. She tries to kill Jessica with the knife. Jessica escapes down the stairs, sees the ghost has also been murdered somehow, and runs to find Woody, who she knows is up in the middle of the night, toiling away in the fields. She finds him on the tractor, but it's too late. Also, she definitely did not expect to get sprayed right here, and it's very funny. Jessica tries to escape on the ferry, but the ferryman is also a thrall. She escapes on a dinghy, but someone tries to climb aboard the boat with her. She grabs the hook and kills her attacker, who turns out to be her husband, Duncan. Abigail and the elderly army look on from the shore. This is all too much for Jessica, and she decides to take her third and final nap of the day. I tried to take a comedic angle with this video, but this is actually a very good movie. I encourage you to watch it for yourself. There's a lot more nuance and plot points that I didn't cover here, and it's actually free on YouTube if you're interested. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.